This is the Bar Steward's Enquiry.
You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I'd saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
Well, that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
And a very, very warm welcome to the Bar Stewards Enquiry weekend preview podcast. It's the Irish Derby weekend and the Pitmans Derby in the Northeast. And with me to discuss the important topics and the best tips you could buy, or not even buy, it's free, on the internet. With me today is John Lang of John Joe's Blogspot as always, and the superb Catherine Fry join me tonight. You all right, folks? All good?
Good, leeches.
Yeah,
naturally.
John? Yeah. Well, it's a good show this week because I do like to cover our Irish count. We've got a lot of Irish listeners, and so I thought we'd make Curragh one of our centerpieces this weekend. Probably ignoring Newmarket to a degree because it's what a gas pit that is. And yeah, it's a good show. We've got 4 questions to start the show off this week, and one of them is sort of close to my heart. Ian Davies sets the tone off and probably gets me and John going a little bit. And he said, the taps have been turned on at the Curragh Racecourse. Firm when Shergar won in 81. Sanjavit's time of 2 minutes 25.6 hasn't been better in 28 years. He said no fucker's been given the chance in this brave new Waterworld era. Is Bath the only place, the only side, on either side of the Irish Sea where hooves rattle anymore? John?
No, I think Ian knows what he's doing here. And in the light of the Saffy Osborne incident, I'm not going to say so much about anybody here.
Yeah, but to be fair, John, like yours is very sort of satirical, witty observations, not being a complete next Tuesday.
And it is target specific, isn't it? Let's be fair. Yeah, I mean, it's just what we're up against at the minute, isn't it? You know, I mean, I don't know what's going on in these Clark's heads. You know, I mean, it'd be nice to gate crash a Clark's seminar, wouldn't it? And give them some real stats or something like that, or at least nick a bottle of wine. I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do to stop it, really.
I think you have to bring your own hose pipe.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, like you say, I mean, if we have a meeting with these Clarks, hopefully they'll put a buffet on, and then we'll do a Mick Easterby and, you know, kind of demolish the buffet or something like that. But yeah,
I'm going to say have a crap in the garden there, like.
Well, yeah, that as well. Yeah. I mean, the thing is for me, people were messaging me this week on Bar Steward, and they said that, I quote, that they were actually watering the track as it's pissing down. And I mean, what? This is, Catherine, this is Ireland, right? So we've seen them at Gowran midwinter, you know, like, you know, for their big chase races. You know, we're inspecting at 7 a.m, tracks underwater. At 7:30 a.m, yes, it's got the go-ahead. Yes, it's fine. You know, they're racing in like literally like time. I've seen a time at Gowran that's been 1 minute and 30 seconds slower than the standard. but yet when it comes to, I mean, so I'm thinking like the Curragh, they're not bothered. They'll race on anything. The Irish. All of a sudden, they just.
I mean, to be honestly, when I lived in Ireland, it rained every day.
Yeah.
I think that rain is just. I think unless they have sort of an exceptionally hot summer, but then an exceptionally hot day in Ireland is 23, 24, whereas now we're getting exceptionally hot. I'm just turned into a weatherman, but exceptionally hot days here now. Certainly in this bowl where I live are like 27, 28. But it does. I mean, it rains an awful lot in Ireland, but still, like the racecourses on this side of the water, we're still not seeing, you've been watching Racing TV have been putting out a lot of old footage this week of old Irish derbies, which is great because obviously a lot of the old ones you didn't actually get to see. You just relied on the commentary, didn't you? Back in the day,
for sure.
when you pop into the bookies and just get the commentary. So it's really great to see some of these old Irish races. But you look there and, does look to be pretty good, if not firm ground.
I think we're overlooking something as well, Heather.
John.
We need to be aware that Jim has one in that needs a bit of dig in the Irish Derby. And Jim's probably just had a word with God, really, and pulled in a favour,
Probably. I mean, I was actually going to say, I don't think I'm going to call him Drac anymore. I think I'm going to call him the Count because it covers a multitude of areas.
Yeah. I mean, the thing for me though, like the times tonight at the Curragh suggests that we're looking at, well, tonight anyway, it's definitely the slow side of good. Maybe so good to yield in that kind of ground tonight. With drying ground, you're going to end up with good ground. But again, we're getting scenarios that I think is concerning for racing because Doncaster today, this is a prime example. I mean, I think the ghost of Seamus Buckley's took over Doncaster because Doncaster this season have been absolutely overwatering like you've never known. I mean, one of the meetings earlier this year, it had a downpour. It ended up like nearly heavy. And this meeting today started off good to firm. There's been no rain this week at all, early week. There was overnight rain tonight. They had 4 millimetres, I believe, overnight. There was just light drizzle during the afternoon. They ended up good to soft. And after 3 races. So it weren't like it was, well, there's been heavy rain all day. It's heavy. No. There've been no signs of mass rainfall, just light drizzle. Your light rain, fine rain, whatever Peter Kay used to call it. But and it's ended up good to soft. And this is where the game, John, you'll agree with me on this, that this is unfair on people that's betting on it to have confidence in it.
It's unfair on everybody. It's unfair on an owner and trainer that's probably gone there thinking, oh great, bit of decent ground for the horse. Real top of the ground, good ground. It's unfair on the punters. It's unfair on the everyday punters. It's unfair on the professional punters. It's unfair on everybody.
The thing is, as well, these clerks are invariably late in changing the ground description, which I know you say during racing you can say what you can see for yourself, and the punters that are waiting on the clerk's decision are going to be behind you. But the problem sets in when you're retrospectively looking at the farm, because there's absolute dog shit going in the farm book. The same the first 3 races were on good to firm, and we all know they weren't. It was slow side of good or even soft, before Sammy comes out the steward's room and takes a bottle of port and whatever, I know you.
Yeah, it's a mass problem going forward, and listeners, I would certainly give a good watch to Doncaster's Clark because this is the new Kirkland. It really is. I mean, this is the second time this season already we've ended up with slop, and where they're knocking the top off that horrible ground, John, that you ate, where they're knocking all the top off, and it's not good, and it needs to be addressed by the useless BHA. Right, next question, and it's more your scene, Catherine, really.
Okay.
Carl Swanson, regular listener, says, a 5th day at the festival, how can it be stopped? Obviously, Carl doesn't want the 5th day. Do you want the 5th day, Catherine?
No. It's unfortunately a great product that has been diluted and marketed out of what it ever was. Just long for the great days of the 80s and 90s, like proper festival days. 3 days, the best horses against each other. I just, I mean, it's already turned into. There used to sort of be, when it changed to a 4-day meeting, and it was always like, you know, you used to say, well, you know, Tuesdays are your day, Tuesday and Wednesday are your day for the purists. I don't think they are anymore. I think it's just basically your money counts if you're there to spend hundreds at the bar getting pissed up, and that is unfortunately the way it's gone. And it's a massive shame, and the dilution of the cards. You know, look, you can't. That has then. See, we talk a lot about betting on this show. That's had a knock on onto the anti-post market as well. You don't know. I mean, it's like trying to get blood out of a stone, trying to find out running plans. It's just, I really, really, and the most bizarre thing is that there are apparently talks that, that the Gold Cup might stay on the Friday and just add a Saturday. Is that just not like after the Lord Mayor's show, sort of? You know, it's just going to be. I mean, Gold Cup Day is already just. To be honest, you may as well just be in a nightclub. Obviously nobody was there this year, but just before we went into the festival, just before the whole world went into lockdown, I hadn't been out front for quite a while at the festival. I wasn't working, and it'd been a good few years that I'd actually sort of been out on the lawn. And bearing in mind that people have paid £100 just for the day to get in there for Gold Cup Day, and people are openly like, I don't really care what people do, but people are in there, they're openly smoking massive reefers. Oh, I'd want to be doing that at a race course, like, you know, like lights down, a bit of Floyd, you know what I'm saying? But like they're there, it's pretty obvious that a few people are off their tits on whatever. It's just an absolute sea of plastic on the floor, people just dropping the plastic, you know, pint glasses on the floor, and it was just like it was like a big outside nightclub, and I thought, fucking hell, is this what it's come to? You know, I'm not against people going out and enjoying themselves, and they can do whatever, but it's Gold Cup Day, and it's just come so far away from what it was and what it should be. And I'm not saying that Cheltenham should be the be all and the end all of the season, because it shouldn't be. And there shouldn't be this, and well, I don't want to run there, I don't want to run that. You know, you didn't have the stars of the 80s and certainly early 90s being campaigned in that way. And unfortunately, it's just like, it's just going the same way as the rest of the world, isn't it? God, I'm old.
Yeah, very, very, very fair points and accurate points as well. From what you're saying there, I agree with just about everything you've said. John, do you concur with Catherine there?
I think that's one of the most selfless statements I've ever heard on the subject, to be honest. I am party to the knowledge that Catherine, during the Cheltenham Festival, rents out the east wing of her house to 11 retired fishermen from Grimsby every year, and charges them £300 a night each. So to deny yourself that kind of money for the fifth day at the festival is quite incredible, and I think that should get her a seat on the board of the PHA.
Oh, so where do you like, how do you make these things up? I wish I had an east wing.
Everybody's got an east wing. Some of them are really small.
You know, unfortunately, obviously, I lost out this year. No crowd. They didn't come down from Grimsby.
Exactly the same thing in Grimsby.
I mean, some great takes there, chaps. But I mean, in all seriousness, like, you know, Cheltenham is about the best of the best, like Catherine says. And the problem I've got already is, let's say if you say 3 top class mares between, say, 2 miles and 2.5 miles, they're already avoiding each other.
Yeah.
One will go for the 2 mile mares hurdle, one will go for the 2.5, one will go for the champion, probably the best one. So you never see the 3 mares turn up at Cheltenham all racing each other to set up a tantalising sort of prospect. And I just think,
that's
why?
why I was just so glad that Honeysuckle ran in the champion hurdle and put the kettle on ran in the Queen Mother. That was both the correct decisions, and obviously they were greatly rewarded. But I mean, was that Mare's Chase? Like, well, they hold their place in open contests. It's just bizarre. It's just, you think back to those just glorious 3 days where the best of the best, and very often you best of the British, best of the Irish, best of the French. You'd have US runners as well coming over, and it's just, I don't know. It's a very, very sad. I can see myself in years to come not going at all to the festival, and that's that's unknown, really. I grew up at that place. I didn't ever go to school for the second or third week in March, and it is sad to see what it's become.
No, Catherine Fry there sums it up fantastically well, and get back to us on Twitter. What do you think to Catherine's comments there? Because me and John are in wholehearted agreement. What would you like to see a 5th day? Are you happy as it is? Would you like to see them go back to 3 days, which will never happen? But like you say, the best days were probably behind us. Right, we move on to the final question before we go on to the tip sheet, and it is a good question, funny question, light-hearted question. We like these. Mike Owen says, "What would you call a horse if Hancock was involved in the breeding?" John Lane.
Serving lives, shagging waves.
I knew that wouldn't be beat.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you better that, Catherine?
Yeah, just ask grabber. I mean, there's fucking a hand on it. Listen, you know what? As much as I found that absolutely hilarious today, the cynic in me says, well, what's like in putting this? Obviously, we all know that they control the media, blah blah blah. From putting out that, what else is going on that we don't know about? Do you know what I mean? And also, why would you be doing that right under a CCTV camera? Don't know. That's the cynic in me, though.
Well, I got sent a still of that CCTV image, and his hands were on a waistline, and my mate that sent me, he said, "What do you think of that?" I said, "He's nowhere near her ass. He doesn't even like her."
Brilliant.
So, yeah, saving lives, shagging wives is the winner. I can't even better that, so I'm not even going to attempt to. John's the master at that. So, yeah, that's the winner. Right, on to tips. And we go to the Northumberland Plate meeting, a meeting which Brian Ellison loves to have a winner at, but these days it gets harder and harder for the old boy, sadly. We go to the
old boy.
He's 75. Do you know, I didn't know this. He's 75, is Brian Ellis. 75.
Behave.
Yeah.
Fair play to him.
I'm sure Coop said that. I might have got that wrong. Coop might have been winding me up, but I'm sure he's 75.
He can't be.
Some hilarity if he actually tweets you saying, "Am I fucked 75?" So,
it'd be Coop winding me up otherwise, but Coop said to me he's 75. I mean, whether he probably is. Coop's like that.
Do you know, it's an hour drive. I might go and ask him. Just
right. We'll all go and ask him.
75. Anyway, probably meant to be looking idiot there. Anyway, the first race at Newcastle on the ITV telebox is the 1:45 race, which is the William Hill Best Odds Guaranteed Handicap. Woven is the current 11-2 market leader, trained by Michael Dodds. John, have you anything in this?
I thought this was awful, to be honest. I mean, this course doesn't suit me sprint-wise.
What are you saying? Shit up.
I'm on the verge of being an on-runner, to be honest. I mean, there's stacks of turf forming, and you start trailing back to find bits and pieces of all weather form. And, I found myself coming up with an empty net every time I had a dive into this race, to be honest. And if I was absolutely rammed for a selection, I'd maybe have a stick at Anthony Britton's horse, Montemedge, or for the hell he calls it.
Easy for you to say, John.
It only just, yeah.
Bondamedge has a lot of talent, John. They've yet to get the key to this, and it's a sprinter that when they do, I think this could be like Anthony Britton's first. Well, it probably is Anthony Britton's flagship now, but a proper flagship. So yeah, I can't knock that. What bits I did on the race was, I thought Fleeting Prince was very interesting. First off, being gelded. The trainer's good when he does this. That, you know, the trainer's also a whopping 10 from 22 at this course and distance. I think Fleeting Prince likes to go forward, and I think that could be an advantage because the wind, I believe, Newcastle's quite difficult to make the running normally because there's usually a strong westerly or a strong like northwest or northwesterly. That's the standard wind. However, it's sort of changed to a northeast. So there's no resistance for anything wanting to bomb off while everyone's playing, catch me. So anyway, so Fleeting Prince is worth a mention at 11-1 for Jim Crowley and Charles Hills. But what I thought was interesting was Streamline as well for Clive Cox in the race. This horse won a Group 3 as a 2-year-old, and he must have had a tendon or something because he missed his 3-year-old campaign. He beat Summergand, John. Summergand at Wolverhampton in the spring. Very strong form for the level. He was too keen last time, ridden by a bin man. And basically, he's been freshened up and the trainer's got a good record of freshing handicaps. So Streamline and Fleeting Prince, I thought, were interesting selections. Anything for you, Catherine, here?
No. I have got one a bit later on at Newcastle.
That's cool. So yeah, it is a tricky opener. It's for John. It's the Anthony Britton Bondamedge, which has got a lot of talent, and I can see that being rated treble figures when it eventually does everything right and they find the key to it. And 2 for me, Fleeting Prince and the one of Clive Cox's 220 race. The William Hill Chip Chase Stakes over 6 furlongs, a Group 3 event. Diligent Harry is the well-backed 100 to 30, trained by Clive Cox. I'll start proceedings then with my choice, which will be a good effort of Ismail Mohammed. Ray Dawson takes the ride. Can't claim in the race, Ray, but he's such a good rider, I'm not really that bothered. Good effort was contesting some strong sprint races in Maidan in the spring, probably macheted with Lasix back then. But he's got some quality form at Lingfield, winning listed events, and he's just a very good horse. Real solid animal. He's 5 from 10 on the all-weather in this country. He goes forwards, which I think, like I say, the trends will change tomorrow at Newcastle with the change in direction of the wind. So good effort for me around the 9-1 mark to make a bold bid of making all under that stands rail. So that's my selection. John, anything?
Yeah, Kazam, he's a bit like that skittery kid at school that nobody liked, isn't he? But I think coming back onto the all-weather will definitely suit him. And they got to 6 furlongs. He's quite keen going. He does certainly when Jim rides him, he does plenty in his hands. I think the trip might actually suit. So I'd be willing to give him a twirl at around 4-1.
Well, it's interesting that Jim picks him because obviously, I mean, Tabdeed is no mug. Was second in this last year behind Glenshield.
Yeah.
And Carden is and Jim's rode twice out of his last 3 starts. I didn't think that would be any back number either. So it's significant, like you said, that he's chose that. So I agree with you.
Varying horses are catching the eye at the moment as well. I think they're looking exceptionally well the last 10 days or so.
Well, so Kazam is about a 4-1 chance. He's been nibbled at overnight. Kazam, quite a strong fancy. Kazam for John, good effort for me. Catherine, anything here?
No, next one. I have in the next one, I promise.
Oh, that's fine. No. Listen, I mean, our punters want to be mark the card. It's no good giving them any old whatever pins.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's 255. It's the plate compilation now called the Northumberland Bars Handicap. East Asia is the mark as favourite, trained by Ian Williams. I'll come to you, Catherine, first for your selection in this.
Okay. So we all know that I like a nice long distance race on the flat. I'm actually going to go with a horse that has actually sort of been catching the eye on decent ground in over the jumps. Unusual for this lady to have a horse that wants top of the ground. I know that one chapter has won over course and distance, and I'm going to go for Bellatrixer for Venetia Williams. Over course and distance, one in the care of Michael Dodds. Few decent runs for Venetia over the jumps, and open 16s, now 11s, I think.
It's a very fascinating selection because back in October last year, it was very impressive. Really dispatched of them with the minute. This would be a rising class, of course, but the way it did it for Michael Dodds was very impressive. Off 72, only off 77.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd probably say the Witch is a trainer upgrade, really, from Dodds.
You think the Winsome one's better than Old Appleton?
I do, yeah.
I thought you fancied the Winsome one, John.
Yeah, well, there's fancying and then there's being realistic, If she was sat here with us having a glass of wine, maybe we'd give her a bit of flannel and say she's better than Hopalong, but, she's not here.
Give her the old chat, John.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Late on with a trowel.
Imagine John and Felicia having a conversation.
Yeah, I just see it now in her front room, over China teacups. And
we won't be in the front room long. Up them stairs.
Like storming Norman.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah. Those days.
Yeah. Good days. Right, John, have you anything to match Catherine's rather intriguing selection with Bellatrixer?
Yeah, it's a cracking left fielder, that, isn't it? I do actually have a sneak. I think this will run well anyway. For our favourite posh training combination of Rafe and Ralph Beckett. the top horse in this is probably unlucky not to get in the plate off bottom weight. Finds itself children 9-10 here. Braska, I think it's considerably better on the sand than it is on the grass. It certainly didn't like scouting around Chester on that slot last time. But I think looking at the rest of its form, I think it's still on a workable mark. I mean, it's only 5. Rafe and Ralph haven't gone mad with this one either. I mean, they haven't raced him to death. Still got a bit of scope for improvement. And I think Posh Hector will get a nice spin round off this at 25.
I'll tell you what, you both are doing brilliant here because I like both these calls. Braska only had 4 starts on the all-weather, won his first 2, and then was second on his next 2 starts. So, like you say, very, very solid. And obviously, Green Desert on the dam side, that kind of adds up as well. So, yeah, John, I like that. 25s, like you say, that could be,
big price, isn't it?
Yeah, this is one that could have made the main event and just didn't quite do so. So, great call. So 25's Braska for John. We've got Bellatrixer at 12 for Catherine and myself. I'm sort of torn between Cosmelli for Gay Calloway because this guaranteed to be laid out for this. Cosmelli's finished 4th and 5th in the plate before and has won this race before. He goes well fresh. No doubt he's been trained for this. So Cosmelli, I thought, he's getting a bit long in the tooth, the old boy, but again, he loves this place. So I just felt maybe at 20s, that's worth a stake saver on anything you back. You don't want to see that win when you know that he loves this place. Thrasher Morris on board to thrash it a few times will help, hopefully. And if it doesn't, and if he rides a bad race, then Gay will be giving him a big volleyful in the paddock afterwards. So that's always a bonus. And the other one was A Star Above, which is on the drift for William Haggis. But I've always said that A Star Above wants 2 miles because all it does is gallop. It just literally just got one speed. And small fields has never suited it. It's tried to make its own pace a few times. Been successful, finished second. So people think it's rubbish. But I do think what it's always wanted is probably a strongly run race. And it might get this today, or at least a well-run race, and can run its race. So A Star Above will be my principal choice at 14-1. So we picked some nice prices there for you. Hope you find the right one out of the three of us. As we move on to the 3:30, which is the William Hill Northumberland Plate, the Pitmans Derby, of course. It's a world famous race, really. It's a firm fixture in the calendar. It's a race I particularly like. Used to like it on the turf more than the all-weather, but never mind. Trushan is favourite for the race, and they've given it. Reese Clutterbuck gets the ride. I think it's an amazing story. Reese Clutterbuck rides the bent ones for Gary Moore and gets them handicapped, and all of a sudden he's riding for Alan King Kong, and he's 9-2-5. Catherine, have you any of you like your 2 mile handicaps? Can you start? I
do, but I just know this one hurt my head a little bit, to be honest with you. And like yourself, I did prefer it on the turf.
Yeah. Spray it green. Let's spray the let's spray the Equitrack, Polytrack, Tappiter, whatever's left. Spray it all green, and then we can all get nostalgic. John, what was your idea of the plate winner?
Christ, I'm getting medieval on here. I really am. Hockfeld, trained by the Screaming Kilt.
Oh God!
Get your kilts out.
I think this is a massive play for me tomorrow, actually, with no ground worries at all. I thought this ran a blistering race at Ascot last time when it finished at 7th. The ride it got was dreadful, it never saw any kind of daylight. Was never given a chance in the race. This horse can win one of these off this mark. A nice even pace will suit it here. I'm quite encouraged by the fact it hasn't got a low draw because you won't get yourself too much of a pocket. Hopefully tomorrow is the day that this puts one of these to bed at 22-1. I'm going to have some of that.
Like that, John. Like it.
That's confidence. Yeah, I mean, the kilt throws enough darts at the dartboard, doesn't he? It's one of them. It's a class act on its day. It contested some good races.
I changed my Twitter picture in honour of this today.
Yes, I saw it. Yes, yes, a gentleman flashing his wares. Yes, a Scottish gentleman, possibly. Yeah,
screaming while he did it.
The Screaming Kilt.
Kind of like that. Yeah. So Hockfeld for John. That's an impressive 22-1. My initial selection was going to be Grandmaster Flash, but that's been for the Baby Joseph. That's been backed in from 25-1 into 12-1. That will probably have the Jungle Juice. Aye, we've got.
Is that you, John? They're coming for you.
That's the Sirens.
The hard drive usually.
And Sploffiga. So anyway, Grandmaster Flash is the Baby Joseph. It's an all-weather animal. It's hacked up at Dundalk loads of times. It'll have the Jungle Juice tomorrow, but they've had the 25s into 12-1. That was my initial choice. Not anymore because of the price. So I've had to go for something a little bit left field again. I don't think this is left field though. Island Brave, Heather Main. I think this would be a great winner for a trainer that basically I think deserves to win something like this. A lesser trainer. Well, the lesser trainer, 12%, good trainer, but just obviously I think this would be a flagship race. It loves the track. It's been here 3 times. Ran well all 3 occasions. Ran well in the Ascot Stakes. Was 7 lengths behind Reshoon. Didn't get the run of the race. Ridden by an idiot. Was rated 100 then. He's off 98, but lo and behold, gets Ray Dawson. He's the best £3 claimer in the British Isles. And so that takes him down to 95, and that makes it a very attractive bet at 20-1 plus when you consider that everything is in his favour. He loves this place. So 95 is well in. He's a horse that's been running with, he ran against Stradivarius, tailed off, fair enough. Ran against Ranch Hand, Calm Wennon. It's all good, solid form. So I thought Island Brave could run a big one at that price. Right, that's the 4 in Geordieland. We've got some big prices for you there. John and Catherine both come up with some good choices. Myself also, hopefully. We move on to, obviously, the main action, which is the Budweiser Irish Derby meeting. Oh no, sorry, Dubai. Always fondly known for me as the Budweiser.
Yeah, those were
anyway.
the days.
Yeah, right. So we go. I'm going to cover 2 races on the Saturday and 2 races on the Sunday. And the first one is the 305 at Currow. It's the Gain Railway Stakes, a Group 2 event. Usually a very, very smart 2-year-old will end up winning this. John, have you anything in this?
I thought this looked tough, to be honest, but I was actually quite taken with Masetto of the Fetus Donikers. When it ran in the Coventry, I thought this looked quite a nice horse, and I don't think a little bit of Hazel there was any harm either. So I could nearly play this each way at 8-1. I think
it's not a bad shout. I mean, it didn't get the run of the race when it ran 2 lengths behind Castle Star. That's the race favourite. Didn't get the race at all. So it definitely goes with a bit of juice in the ground, John. I do think it'll probably dry out to good ground tomorrow. I think it probably will be genuine good unless Ireland get deluged. Ireland just rains all the time, so you never know with Ireland. But it, on forecast anyway, it should end up good. Catherine, did you look at this 2-year-old race?
Yeah, I did. I think it is really hard, but a performance that has kind of, as you know with me, I kind of dip in and out of the flat, but from what I do see, a performance that really did stick in my head was, and it's quite boring because he's second favourite, but Dr. Zemf. I thought I thought the way that he was so keen was kind of like last place in the way he came through. I thought it has to have a pretty big engine to be able to do that, and obviously stable in form. And like you say, it's normally a very decent horse that wins this. So quite a boring selection, I know, but Dr. Zemf for me.
Looked tidy, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's certainly not boring for me because I think Dr. Zemf will be very tough to beat here. I think even if he just steps forward a little bit for debut, I just think
that's all he
going
needs
to
to
be
do, really.
Yeah. I mean, he made the subsequent Albany 6th elliptic look totally pedestrian.
Yeah.
He's
it's
superior.
Just the way he came through. Like, it wasn't asked any questions at all.
No.
It was definitely eye-catching. I say the old Notebook, is a bit barren in the flat season, but that was one that sort of had me like, wow.
Yeah, Dr. Zemf, I mean, he's got some really smart foot. The numbers back this up as well. What I visually saw, I think he's an exciting horse, and I do think, he's, dare I say it, he's probably, I do think he's top of the tops. So Dr. Zemf is a strong choice for me. Around 7-2 is available. That's enormous. Could be a big day for Lions. I do think he's got some big chances. So could be
in
the
good
start
form
of,
as well. Like the stable's in very good form.
He's good for him. When he's pint a pint, he's good for him. So anyway, 340. That was my Indian accent, not Irish.
I was going to say he's not from Karachi, is he?
I was going to say, I thought I was like back in Rusholme then.
I tried.
I thought the Batley and Spen by election was really
Brilliant.
I tried. Anyway, the 3:45. It's the big one. The Dubai duty free Irish Derby. Yeah, I'm getting to the end of the gym bowl. The mile and a half handicap. The mile and a half Group 1 race. High definition leads the way at 7-4 for Ballydoyle. John, this was your second coming at the start of the year. Is it still your second coming?
Yes.
It is.
Like that, concise, John, to the point.
Yeah. I've watched that Dante back time and time again, and I've convinced myself he's going to take a massive step forward from that. I don't think they're giving money away at 7-4, but my gut feeling is that this will win and win impressively.
I mean, certainly, when I saw the initial ground and the forecast, and it was looking like, oh God, this is going to be like a road. I was thinking he's not going to want it like a road. I can just tell by his style, he doesn't want really fast ground. But since the
Magic.
chucked it all on, and you know we've had some severe downpours. It's kind of made it, where I actually believe you, John. I think it's one of them. It's as if like the Dante, the lads knew, didn't they, John? The lads knew. Look at the front.
Well, we knew when it started going out because we were just waiting for the lads to back it, and we were going to take shorter paces, weren't we?
Week and for me, the principal danger is Hurricane Lane. It ripped 2 shoes off in the derby, and I do think Hurricane Lane, and I've had reports since that its work has been spectacular. They really like Hurricane Lane. I think that could be the each way option. If you don't fancy high definition at 7-4 and taking that sort of price, I thought Hurricane Lane might be an each way shout. But I do agree with you, John. It's one of them that you can just see high definition improving way past Hurricane Lane, because we don't think, and we said this, didn't we? We don't think the 3-year-old males again this season are anything to start shouting about. So
he's been careful with this. He's been careful with this as well. I mean, if it was one of these that he wasn't asked about, like Morgul and things like that, he'd have gone to Epsom, and then he might have even popped up at Ascot, you know. But clearly, Ryan's got off at York and said, look, this needs a bit more time. And rather than bolting on, he's waited and waited. It's a much more suitable track. We know it can act round here. And I think the fact that he's being careful tells you what to think about this. And as I said, I think it'll probably lap these.
Well, Aidan said everything has gone smoothly, which is a different vibe to what he gave before York. So I'm with you, John, with the high definition for the win. But if you don't fancy that, it's Hurricane Lane each way. Sorry to be boring, but I think that literally is the scenario. Catherine, have you any view on this?
Oh, yeah. I was actually going to read out my notes from the derby, but I thought there's a very naughty swear word in them. So.
No. I've swore several times and broke laws.
Yeah, but this is like the C-bomb.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay,
that must have been when Jim's house ranged up on the outside and was like winning, did it?
Yeah, so these are my notes. These are my notes from the derby. McSwiney, slowly away. Question mark on course, question mark on ground. I don't believe stamina was a problem. Ran well considering the start, but given a next Tuesday of a ride, which I think, all things considering, did actually run really well in the derby. I don't believe it was a stamina issue. I think that his stamina will stretch to 1 mile 4, and let's forget, who he's beaten. How impressive was everyone's favourite Count's horse in the St James's Palace. I think everyone knows I love McSwiney, but let's just hope that the Leprechauns have popped on enough water for him.
Well, they've certainly done. They've certainly helped. I mean, it's definitely not going to be quick tomorrow. I wouldn't have thought. So, it's like you say. It's just whether.
I don't think he stays.
You know,
No.
I think this is gonna be my decider. See, I think that the track was more of an issue rather than the stamina. But in that saying, if you compare the ride of Max Sweeney to the genius of a ride of a winner, like if you sort of watch the race and literally just your eye to those two, it's a pretty poor ride in comparison. But then how many derbies have I ridden in?
Maybe as many as him.
I've
got him up far left.
I've got Max Swiney down as a soup monster, and that's literally it. I just think he's an absolute soup monster, and that's him. He's probably unbeatable in 3-year-old division when it's soft heavy.
Like to see him in a good man's on slop.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a class act. I mean, to beat Poetic Flair, obviously, he's no mean feat, because that's the key 3-year-old form. We're talking about Poetic Flair beating Palace Pier in the Sussex later in the season, and so Max Swiney in a year where, if High Definition doesn't turn up, then that could be interesting. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed our thoughts there, folks, on the Irish Derby. We go to the Sunday.
Oh, can I just mention one and the 2 mile concluding handicap on the Saturday,
which is the 5:55. The current, it's a 2 mile July duty free Irish EBF handicap. Current favourite Arcadian Sunrise for John Quealy at 11-4.
Yeah. Okay, this one actually ran the other day. Duke Up, Ted Walsh's horse. It was quite interesting. Got buffeted about, knocked all over the place, and then outpaced at Ballinrobe. But I think that, Duke Up is actually a hurdler, and I think that the trip there at Ballinrobe would have been on the short side. Much better trip here at 2 miles. And I think they might sort of, be playing an old sneaky, have a nice little run over a shorter distance. And it's quite confusing because he went off favourite for that Ballinrobe race. But the cynic in me says that this is what he will be spot on for.
Yeah, because Father Ted had an idiot riding it that day, and now he's got Chris Hayes up.
Exactly. Well, that was my next point.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say. Yeah, this is Catherine. This is a good spot because I watched the race. I played in the race. I backed the winner to sicken everybody off. That we're in after time.
I was going to say, what time's it run?
What time's that run? And the thing is, Duke Up was, you could tell, right? It was quite decent ground at Ballinrobe. That for Ireland, anyway. It was like it's probably third over here compared to, and it's like everything that was on the front end at Ballinrobe did quite well. You had to be sort of on the pace. You had to, and that's not Duke Up. That's like Catherine said. That is not. Duke Up's, and like you say, step up to 2 miles, more of a gallop, more of a wide expanse. Like you said,
which you'll get. Yeah.
Dirty Ted. With his,
no shoes Ted.
Yeah, Dirty Ted.
He was tweeting this week in favour of a 5-day festival,
Yeah, well, they all are.
He said, I'll moan about it, but it'll work, it'll just work. So I tweeted him back. I said, would 17 days work, Ted? He just ignored me.
So Catherine, brilliant. It's like Duke Up there in the 5:55 makes a good point. I did watch it at Ballinrobe. Look, especially when they hit that last bend, it looked all at sea. Hitting that last bend, it thought, I've not seen a bend that sharp. In my life.
I definitely think this is obviously it's their local flat track as well.
Let's smash the piss out of this and ruin the price for 10.
7 to come 10 o'clock. Sorry, 7 or 2.
Yeah,
7
yeah, and I'd have forgot to back it because
when Ruby's asked for a 12,000 or 2, Ted's had 3.
Katie will be straight with the garage again.
Yeah, but it just the cynic in me says, okay, we're not favourite, but I think there's more to this story. But then I am the world's most cynical person, apart from John.
So that's Duke up for Catherine. That's probably a nap as well, I reckon. In
It is
the
my nap on the weekend.
yeah, nap of the weekend there from Catherine Fry, the Irish correspondent. Duke up at 7-1. Get stuck in, folks. Right, Sunday we'll look at 2 races. And do you know what? Right, the first one is obviously the Group 1 Pretty Polly Stakes, 340 at the Curragh. Do you know what I find amusing? That there's a race going off as we're recording now, the 720 at Newcastle that's worth a bag of peanuts and a photo frame for the winner.
Oh.
And Zayadar, that ran in the Oaks, is currently 13-8 favourite for this Newcastle race running now. And if Zayadar ran in this tomorrow, right, she'd be racing for €147,000 to the winner, and she'd probably be joint favourites with Santa Barbara. What is up with these people about placing the horses? I mean, same distance, 1 and 2 at Newcastle, Zayadar, racing for a bag of nuts, and there's €147,000 on offer for the Pretty Polly. It's a really moderate Pretty Polly. Santa Barbara's favourite, probably on default, because the older KM Pepper's weak in the betting. She's probably not right. That can't be 4-1. Thundering Knight's the third in. He's got good form, but it's Group 3 form. That's all. Just Group 3. And then you've got an Oaks horse that was 11-2 for the Oaks, or 6-1 for the Oaks, or whatever she was. She's running at Newcastle. And I just think, what on earth are they doing?
Yeah.
Catherine?
Yeah, I'd quite like one in this, actually. I think it's winner of a Group 2 last time out. I think there's plenty of stamina in the pedigree, so I don't think 1 mile 2 will be a problem. She's obviously in good form herself. One at the track, and that's Sapona Plays.
Yeah. The Australia filly. She made my 3-year-olds to follow last season.
Okay.
Except the amusing thing was, I backed her to win a Leopardstown Maiden at 6-4. She got beat. I backed her at 4-1 next time at Killarney. She couldn't even place. And then she ends up winning a Group 3. In fact, then this season a Group 3 and then a Group 2. What a funny game. It's like
funny old world, isn't it?
Funny old game. Yeah, so Ipona Play, and I agree with you. She's improving massively.
Yes.
She absolutely bolted up last time.
And there's, if you look on there's up to 2 miles in her pedigree, so this 1 mile 2 is going to be absolutely fine for it. Just as a side as well, I've just been looking at the prices on Duke Up, and there's certainly a discrepancy. So you're right, there is 7-1 available. She says she's quickly trying to have a bet. 9-2 with bet 365.
The bet 365 gang's been in. And it's the woe of our lives. We wake up in the morning, there's nothing there, nothing.
Yeah,
it's like a Masai Mara carcass. No,
Ted Ruby and Katie, they've got one of them bikes now, like the goodies, and they're going around all the shops hammering it.
Yeah, must have. Imagine if you had some real off the wall documentary doing it. Ted on a BMX.
So there's 3 on a bike, John. One of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the goodies. Goody, yum, yum.
Yeah.
Super.
Anyway, Ipona Plays for Catherine. Can't fault her on that because she is improving. Nothing for me on the race. I was just astonished that no British entrant decided to bother for that kind of money, especially when you've probably got to run to about 110 to win. Anyway, we move on to the... John, anything for you in that? I didn't come to you, did I, after all that?
I'm not strong on anything at all. I mean, if Karen Pepper was right, I think she'd muller him, but the betting looks a bit ominous, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can tell she's not. She can't be 4-1 because she drubbed Thundering Knights last year by 5 lengths, and that's the same price. So obviously...
Exactly.
Yeah, Jesse's not sticking the super unleaded in yet. The Then we go to the 410, which is the Coma Group International Curragh Cup, a Group 2 event. Plenty of prize winning offer again, 100,000 race, 59,000 euros to the winner. Aiden as the favourite with Passion at 13-8. John, anything in this to finish us off?
I just thought maybe there's a little sport in each one question there, although Comas doesn't have an awful lot to say, and I think there's a little bit of progression in the profile. Quite a nice run last time. I wouldn't be going mad, but just a sporty little play at a big price against the O'Brien Horde.
Okie doke. 25's perk there. Chris A is on board. Catherine, anything for you?
No, nothing for me in this.
Right. Well, before we finish, then, can anyone pronounce the O'Brien runner with Colin Keane on? Anyone? Amran de Biffan. John, what is it?
It's not that, but it's something else.
Yeah.
We need to mention some other business as well, really.
We do, right?
Because
have you got a bingo bongo, John?
I think so. Well, there's one sneaking out at Newmarket tomorrow in the 135. I think you know what to expect here.
Yeah.
It's our old girl from last week, Companionship.
Yeah.
If she was going to win this as Sandringham, she's going to be winning this, isn't she?
Yeah.
Really.
I think so.
And I think we need to be dipping a toe in the choppy waters of Newmarket.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it doesn't pedal down too much.
Sad thing is, John, you're in your speedos and the tide's gone out. It's already 8s into 5s.
Yeah. It's one of them things, isn't it? But
in your speedos and the tide's gone out.
I mean, it happens to us all.
Yeah.
At some point.
5s might still be a good price.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I double with Duke up.
I mean, to be honest, they're the best two. So I'd have companionship 5. So just to even crash your price further, it'll probably end up 3s when we wake up. But anyway, companionship then and Duke up, I would say, are the bar stewards' 2 best bets of this show. If you want some bankers, I think that's what we're doing, and I think both will be hammered. And we'll be hammered as well. Gin and everything paid this tomorrow afternoon.
I've got a couple of jumpers, not woolly jumpers like horses.
Oh right! Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we like your jumpers.
Yeah. So it's the Summer Cup thing at Utoxeter. I normally hate betting horses at Utoxeter, but I fancy a couple at Utoxeter. I think the favourite Lock's Corner will win the Summer Cup. I think it's the best horse in the race. I remember we had him as a little. We had our eye on him for the Pitmans, didn't we? Way back.
We did.
And then he went chasing at Kempton. He ran in the really good handicap at Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival, and he was going okay, but he made an absolutely bad mistake and then pulled up after that. So on that evidence, the company that he's kept previously, I would say that he should be winning this. The distance isn't going to be a problem. In the 155, which is a really bad race, it's the first division of the handicap hurdle. I think Neil Holland will win it with Ragamuffin, and Cartmel on Sunday. Thomas Todd in the 420. Adam Wedge goes all the way up for that ride, and they would be my 3 over the sticks this weekend.
Okie dokie, wonderful, super. So let's clarify. So 420 Cartmel. Thomas Todd for Catherine.
Yep. Lock's Corner in the Summer Cup. 3.
Lock's Corner, that's in the 335 at Utoxeter.
Yeah.
That's in the Summer Cup. You can get a bit of 8-1, I think, Lock's Corner. Okay. So that might be worth diving.
155 Ragamuffin.
And then the 155 Ragamuffin of the Mulhollands.
Yeah.
And that he looks like he's ready to work. 89, they've got that off the dirty.
Dirty.
Right, fantastic. So we've given you plenty of tips there to go forward this weekend. I hope you back plenty of winners. I really do. I hope you've enjoyed the show like us three have. We're arses, we have a good laugh. And we'll be having the pit. Pit will be open tomorrow with gin and etc. Always in my household on a Saturday. And I'll say, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Me and John are just back on Sunday for the Sermon, and you can listen to more rubbish on Sunday evening if you've nothing else better to do. That's all from us. We love you. Bye for now.
Bye.